awareness of time passage.
Well, Phil, Bill being a reason that people hit.
Should probably do some work. But the problem is, why the heck is my computer so far away? Whatever, I'll do it tomorrow.
I didn't care about the rest of this crap.
But if you use the channel, do not worry yourself, Sally, because we are...
Does that sound like you? Well, if so, then you've come to the right video. Hi guys, I'm Swing. I am a WEBTOON creative producer, and in this video, I'm going to talk about really practical tips and just insight in order for you to get your motivation back to start creating whatever you want to create. In this video, I'll have 7 foolproof tips for you to get your productivity and motivation back. These are tips that have helped me. These are tips that I'm currently using. So without further ado, let's begin. Everyone is at different phases of their lives, and I think sometimes it's important to acknowledge that maybe motivation is not what you need. I think it's important to first evaluate and assess how you are doing at this moment concerning, your mental health. So if you are depressed, if you're burnt out, if you are really busy in work or, have a lot of stressors on you right now, understandably, I don't think you'd be very creatively motivated, and I don't think right now would be the time for you to put that extra pressure on yourself. So I think it's really important to assess your current situation, and if you are going through a lot right now, mentally, financially, socially, all these kinds of things, it could definitely take a hit to your creativity. So just assess your current situation first. This is me telling you personally that it is okay to take a break. It is okay to take a rest. You will still be a creator, you will still be an artist or a writer, and so I hope you take your rest with confidence and feeling like you are allowed to take that break, because the motivation and creativity will come back when you're feeling better. I 100% guarantee that. So I just wanted to put that out there for anyone who is going through something. Please don't put extra pressure on yourself to be productive or motivated. Yeah. I think it is very important to kind of look inwards and figure out what is holding you back from doing that thing that you wanted to do. If you allow yourself to be honest with yourself, you would be surprised to see all of the fears that would start unfurling. I really encourage you to write this out. It can be all sorts of things like, I'm scared it's not good enough, I'm scared of what people think. So many fears surrounding just whatever you wanted to create, whether it is that new book you wanted to write or that new webtoon you wanted to create. And so definitely, because it is new, because it is something that you care a lot about, there's a lot of fears that revolve around this activity. And so these fears are reminding you of how important this activity or this creative journey is to you. So I don't think it is possible to erase these thoughts completely. So you can't control your thoughts, but you can definitely control which thoughts have power over you. So I would suggest you to write down all of the fears that you have and then have a counterpoint for it, something that would help lift you up instead of bring you down, and something that would help encourage you to make that first step instead of push you away from making that first step. If your fear is that you're scared it won't be perfect enough and you're scared it won't meet your expectations, instead flip it around and say that I know this, whatever I create will probably not meet my expectations, will not be perfect, but I'm very excited to see what kind of skills I'll learn throughout this journey and how I will improve. If your fear is you're scared of what people think, the flip side to that will be, I am making this because I really enjoy making it and I'm making this for myself. I know it's going to be really hard to flip this mindset. In fact, I think you're going to be reminding yourself this over and over and over again, but I think if you continuously try to remind yourself and think in this other way, in this other paradigm, it will slowly become easier, and you will find yourself having a lot less burden and a lot less psychological just kind of rumination around the activity, and you will find it a lot easier to start. With that kind of mindset in mind, having a very fun play mentality about this activity can help you get a lot more motivation. And not only that, hopefully when you're doing that activity, in order to keep that motivation, make sure to set your expectations in that play mindset. If there is a reason why you want to learn something or create something, there must be an exciting or fun part of that activity, right? And so I think you should really hone in on what part of that activity excites you and really structure some kind of learning or activity or just like project that kind of sparks that interest and sparks that motivation. Now it's time to structure your environment in a way that can help support you in the journey of motivation and productivity. I'm going to have 4 examples of ways that you can kind of structure your environment so that your productivity is at its max. The first one is stacking habits. So basically what stacking habits is when you have a habit that is already very locked in, and then you're putting another habit on top of it. So it's kind of like piggybacking off of a habit that you don't have to work too hard on. Nowadays, I find that it's very easy for me to go to the gym, and after I'm done with my run, I'm walking on the treadmill and I have a little bit of extra time. So that's also when I get a little bit more work done just on my phone. Another point would be structuring your environment, physical environment, your contextual environment. So a really good example of structuring your environment in order to boost productivity would be to have that thing that you wanted to work on at hand in a very convenient way. So if you work on your iPad or you work on your laptop, perhaps have that next to your remote for your TV. You would have to make a choice then. Can you turn on the TV, or instead just pick up your laptop, which is literally right next to you? Having the productive option very close at hand is going to help you in order to make the right decision. So the third thing that you should definitely do in order to set yourself up for success is to lower your expectations. This is something that I also struggle with, because if you get really excited about something and you really want to do that thing well, you start setting really high, unrealistic expectations for yourself, such as, I want to get a webtoon out by the end of this month. But obviously it's not realistic, because how difficult would it be to change your whole entire life and add in an extra 2 hours for this new activity? You're not used to it. You're gonna get burnt out because you didn't really give yourself kind of like a very gentle transition. So when I say to set your expectations to be more realistic, it is keeping that transition in mind. For me, this helped me a lot when I was getting better at my art skills. I set the bar very low, and I just said I wanted to do 3 figure drawings a day. That activity gave me a lot of confidence because I knew I was going to keep it up, and it was very easy to keep up, and so it didn't demotivate me in any sense. And I also was getting my practice in every single day. So even something like a couple minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day is enough to make a difference. And when you feel like you have mastered that level of doing that activity for 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, then you can move on to maybe 30 minutes a day, and then you can move on to an hour. But obviously you always have to start small and work your way up. Make it an easy win for yourself so that you have the confidence to go forward. So my last tip to set up your environment for success concerning productivity and motivation would be to have accountability and set up an accountability system for yourself. This can be different for all sorts of people, but when I was writing my webtoon, Spells from Hell, I obviously had a very easy way to set up accountability. Obviously, the whole entire team of 5 or 6 people was waiting for me every single Friday to deliver a script, and if I didn't deliver, they couldn't deliver either. They couldn't create the episode, so it was definitely a very stressful kind of situation, but the stress was perfect for me to just guarantee that I can churn out that 1 episode every single week, and it gave me a really big excuse to dedicate a lot of my time to it. Even athletes have rest days. Rest is honestly just as important as productivity. So sometimes human beings need rest. Sometimes life happens. Not everything is consistent, and life is always in chaos. So I think it's really important to give yourself breaks, give yourself time to relax, give yourself a time to kind of step back, and don't beat yourself up when you miss a day or you miss, a week. So having that type of short-term mindset can kind of put you off and just make you feel less motivated and less inclined to continue. So be able to just assess the ebb and flow and understand yourself and your productivity in a way that is really useful to you can be really helpful in making sure your motivation and productivity is consistent and just long-term. So my next tip, which I think is really important for creatives to understand and get better at, is flow. If you don't know what flow is, it's basically a state of mind where you zone into the activity so well, and you become so immersed into the activity that time seems to fade away, and you basically get tunnel vision. All of your energy and focus is in on this activity. And I think this flow mindset is really, really important for creatives. It is a very meditative state of mind, and it is very nurturing for the brain. Like, this is like a really, really good thing for your brain. So I highly encourage you to try and reach that level of flow when you are engaged in that activity, whether it's once a week or whether it's once a day, whatever it is. If you struggle to get into that flow state, a lot of times when I'm drawing and I have a hard time getting into that flow state, my mind is constantly just, you know, spewing thoughts. What helps me is just like scribbling, and I would just scribble for a little bit, just like loosen up a little bit. Also, when I'm writing as well, if I find that I am struggling to get kind of into the zone when it comes to writing, what I like to do is sometimes switch gears into, say, brainstorming the outline, like what's gonna happen. Or sometimes I would just start writing and I can just write whatever I want, just kind of like word vomit. Like today I went to bed and just have the practice of just like typing on my keyboard so I can slowly ease into whatever I'm writing. If you're able to master your own way of getting into the flow state, that is a very sure way for you to be very productive in what you want to create or do in a very structured way, and you would have a lot more confidence in your productivity. So this is my last and final tip, which is just maybe you just need to find a little bit more motivation to keep on creating, and that can only be found through life, through living, through experiencing, through going through the highs and the lows, through being present in everything that you're doing outside of your work, being connected with friends and family, being connected with your community, building new experiences for yourself, trying new things, seeing new sights, visiting new places, and just living. Obviously, staying in all day alone by yourself, watching TV, being a couch potato is not the most inspiring kind of day-to-day life in order for you to start creating. And in order to give you the juice you need to be an artist, obviously you need to live, you need to cry, you need to laugh, you need to experience all of what life has to give, and then without a doubt, you will start spewing everything that you want to share with the world because you have experienced so much. Your cup is so full that you just want to share it. So I really like to think of Kiki's delivery service when I am thinking about motivation, because Ursula has the best quote of all time, and I'm going to read it for you guys. Stop trying, take long walks, look at the scenery, doze off at noon. Don't even think about flying, and then pretty soon you'll be flying again. So I highly recommend watching that movie if right now you feel like you don't have the best motivation or productivity. As we all know, in Kiki's delivery service, when the time came and when she had that urgency and that motivation, and when Tombo was in danger, she found herself able to fly again. So that is the sentiment I'm going to leave with you guys for the end of this video, which is cut yourself some slack, live your life to the fullest, and when you are starting to be productive, be smart about it and be realistic about it. Take it easy, take it day by day, and one day your urgency will come to you, and one day you will do that thing you wanted to do and live your life to the fullest. So that concludes the end of this video. If this video helped you a lot, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I give tips like this for artists and creatives every single week, and I also vlog about my life as a webtoon producer. And so if you'd like to see that, subscribe. And yeah, with that, I will see you guys in the next video, and have a wonderful week. Bye!